Hello, and thanks for joining me today for Porch Talk here at Cedar Creek Homestead. This is Howie here, and hope you're having a wonderful day today. And I want to say, if you haven't watched lately our last video, my wife Stacy put up a video today, her first video, and yes, I survived. I know at the end of the video she said, "Howie, don't put this video up," but I did, and anyway, and which she was okay with it. We talked about it. She filmed 3 or 4 different videos there on the front porch, all the kind of the same theme, and I picked out the one I thought was the better of the ones and aired that. And she's planning on doing some more videos, so if you are interested in that, she says she's got some ideas for some Christmas stuff like decorations or food, whatever, something in that theme that would go along with homesteading, and she loves to do that kind of stuff, so we'll see how it goes. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, if you would subscribe, it would certainly help us out, help our channel to grow. And if you like the video today, give us a thumbs up. Comment if you got a comment there. Today's theme is about daring to be different, and it seems like in this time we're living that there's not a lot of folks that just stand out. And I want to go back to something here on that has to relate to this daring to be different. Do you remember used to when people had automobiles, they were different? Maybe they'd have them chromed out or something spectacular different. You know, they go buy a new car and it would seem like the only one around here that way. Now you go buy a new car, there'll be 14 of the same one in the same town, the same color, same everything. My dad bought a new red GMC pickup some time ago, and our neighbor right here bought one. At the same time, like the same week, they bought the same color truck. And so, you know, I was like, well, there goes my dad, but it'd be my neighbor, man, or there would be my dad, and, you know, whatever, vice versa. But, it was several people around here got the same color truck and everything. And it seems like that there's a cookie cutter mentality today to try to get everybody to be the same. And in daring to be different, I want to say that daring to live a righteous life, a moral life, today, saying that you're going to do that, and we're in a culture today that is teaching things that are immoral, teaching and promoting things that are immoral, our television programs and so forth, and there's so much out there to confuse a person or mislead a person. In fact, if you watch some of the news channels like the CNN and some of them, you know, they're persuading people that the abnormal is normal. And the Bible tells us that in the last days that's how it would be, is that they would call good bad and bad good, and that's exactly what's happening today. And it saddens my heart that it's that way. And if a person stands out, if you're a regular church goer, well, you're considered weird. If you're somebody that says, I believe certain things are wrong. Now, this is the way I feel. There are certain things that I believe that are wrong, and there are certain things I believe that are right. And I try to live by that. And I base my right and wrongs off of the Word of God. And if I find in the Word of God that something isn't correct, that I believe that God has a negative opinion of that, then I try not to do that. And things that God has positive opinion. Now, if you get into an argument about it, people will argue with you all day long. I mean, there's some that, they're going to nitpick this, and some is going to nitpick this. But the Bible says work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So when it all gets done, we're going to have to make sure that we've worked our salvation out with the Lord. And I'm doing that with mine, but sometimes we are considered, if you stand out and you don't go along with the flow, it's kind of a herd mentality. If you're kind of over here on your own, you're considered weird or abnormal. And I say there's nothing wrong with saying, I'll dare to be different. And in this world right now, daring to be different. I'll give you some examples. And today, even somebody that I was just looking at what this TV has up here. I guess it's showing my video there. But anyway, let's just say that you are different and you decide you're going to go off grid. Now, no offense to those that are off gridders, but people consider that strange, that you don't have electricity, you don't have running water, as far as you're not hooked into the public utilities. You know, a lot of people think that's abnormal, and that there's something weird about those kind of people. There's not. And it has not been that many years ago when people were not hooked into it. It hasn't been a whole lot of years ago that there wasn't even electricity in this part of Oklahoma. A lot of these power poles that come through here, they've taken them out and they're dated, and they have told me that those power poles were original poles from way back when they first ran the electricity through here. So but it hasn't been that many years back when my dad was a boy that they would go and buy a battery to listen to the radio. And my dad's 70 now, but back sometime when he was a youngster, they got electricity. And so that was the norm back then, but now it's abnormal if you aren't hooked into the grid. If you're somebody that cans and puts up your own food, if you're into homesteading, you know, some people are off-gridders and they're also into homesteading. You've got to have both, but I consider a homesteader someone that lives off of their land as much as they can. You raise your own garden, your own vegetables, everything that you can, you try to do on your own. Well, if you do that, people think you're kind of strange. And I remember one time I was working in the garden. It was early spring, and a friend pulled up and he said, "Hey, let's go fishing." And this friend, and if that particular friend is watching and knows that I'm talking about it, I'm not criticizing them, but this is just the fact. They never grow a garden or anything. Have their yard, they just mow. Nothing, no bushes, no nothing extra. They just their home is just something to stop by and spend the night at, and they're always going. And I said, "Well, I'm right now busy working in the garden, whatever it was I was planting." I was like, "I got to get this done, and I can't go fishing today." And they said, "Well, don't you and Stacy ever have any fun?" And after they went away, I kind of got a guilty conscience, you might say, or something like that. I just got to feeling like, am I so weird and out of step with things that I never have any fun, and that I, and I got to thinking, I'm having fun right here working in the garden, getting my hands dirty, working in the dirt. I'm having fun. Something else, if you go to church regularly anymore, church attendance in America has dropped off. The church is losing ground big time. And there's all kinds of reasons. Some people don't go because they're bored. Some people don't go just because their lives, they feel, don't measure up, and they're not going to go to church. And there's just some just don't believe anymore. But the fact is that church has went down. And around here, most of the Christian churches, Christian type churches I'm talking about, your Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostals, so forth, used to have Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and most now only have a Sunday morning, and if they may have a Wednesday program. But our church, we have 3 services, but I've had people, we have Wednesdays, Sunday morning, Sunday nights. We did even have church on Saturday nights, which was a wonderful service, but the attendance started dropping off so bad that we finally said, well, let's just do Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday nights, and now even that attendance is dropping off because a lot of our folks have died, and most of our congregations in their 80s, and they have been passing away, and we've lost one just a few days ago, and we're certainly going to miss her. And since we've been living back here, working on 12 years, there's been at least half of our church has passed away just of old age, just getting older and wearing out, and that's where we're all headed. But anyway, I have people ask me, y'all go to church 3 times a week, and they think that's weird. And I'm like, I don't really care what other people think. I'm having the time of my life. I love going down. Like me and my wife, actually, I'm 50 and she's 49, and we're the youngest people in the church. And there just aren't any young people. We've had some young ones come, and they'll come a while, and then things happen, they just don't come anymore. It seems like anymore, if you're not got to fancy something to entertain folks, is what my opinion is. It's kind of hard to keep them. But the older ones, they didn't grow up with all the entertainment like the young ones do, so it doesn't seem to affect them so bad. And us going to church kind of is our entertainment. Not that I expect the church to entertain us, but we love to get up and sing, and we love to see our the people there that go to church there. And when we have visitors, that's always a wonderful thing, to meet new people. And sometimes we'll have visiting ministers and stuff like that. And I just love it. It's something I look forward to. In the summertime, when it's really, really hot, I look forward to going to church, especially on Wednesday nights, because I know it's going to be nice and cool. And it gives me an excuse to stop working and to get to church. And this past year, I've missed, I believe, one service on a Wednesday night because I had to work late, and I hated missing. I really did. It bothered me just because I enjoy it so much. But it's something we've gotten used to doing, and we like to go. I understand that not everybody gets that way, but we're considered kind of weird. We've had people make comments. I've been called a fuddy-dud and all this kind of stuff. A guy a while back, he said, you've never done any bad stuff, have you? You've just always been straight-laced. And I said, listen, I've done my share of bad stuff. I've never claimed to be perfect at all, but he thought because we went to church so much, and if you go to church and you're a Christian, you should be living a good life. But anyway, I was like, I'd never say that I'm perfect. I'm just forgiven. And but I enjoy those things. But you're kind of considered abnormal if you don't go along with the flow and this cookie cutter mentality they have today. Just like our children, they herd them into schools like cattle, and not all the kids are the same. And I have dealt with a lot of children over the years, and they're each one unique, and each one has a different learning ability. And you've got some that, man, they can just read something, just absorb it like a sponge, and they go. And then you got some that can read it and read it and read it. I was kind of that way. I could read stuff and I had trouble. And I remember when we were in school, about the 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, we had it wasn't reading class, they called it something else, and you can tell how much I paid attention back in that time. But you would read stuff, and then you would have to write down or answer questions about what you read, and they would give you, say, 30 minutes to read the story. And I would be about half through when the teacher would say, "Time's up. It's time for your test." And so after I graduated, I was able to read and do things when I graduated. I was, what I consider probably about average, but I didn't never excel in reading or any of that kind of stuff. Now that I have been out of school, reading and arithmetic and all that stuff, I feel like I am way more exceeding in those things today and can read a whole lot faster than I was when I left school. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But I was ran through with the really smart kids. And different people have different skills and levels and things. And I said all that to say this: if you got kids or grandkids in school and stuff, watch out for that they don't get pushed along and just herded through, because everybody is a unique individual. But getting back to daring to be different, today, if you don't do drugs, or around our area here, if you're not addicted to drugs, you're kind of considered abnormal. Now we got marijuana shops on every corner. We got, if you don't drink, I just don't drink alcohol. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing is both of my grandfathers, I was named after them, and both of them was drunks. And I have a lot of people tell me over the years about drinking with my grandfathers, and that they knew them. And, oh, I drank many a jug of moonshine with your granddad, or many a bottle, a fifth of whiskey with your grandfather and stuff. And they tell stories here about when you go down to the local liquor store, there was a hidden floor underneath the liquor store, and the man who ran it, his brother was the county sheriff. And my grandpa said when you wanted the good stuff, they would pound on that floor, and they had a certain code, and they had a way they could get that open, and they would open up, but otherwise they kept the illegal stuff hidden down underneath there. But I just said, I'm not going to get into that. I've never smoked a cigarette, and I've seen people die of cancer, and that is, I had an aunt when I was real young die of cancer, and I believed it was because she smoked cigarettes, and I still believe it to this day. None of my other aunts have gotten cancer, but this particular aunt kind of raised me, and you know, she was like a mom to me, but she would not quit smoking, and she ended up dying of cancer and smoked pretty much clear up till her death. And I just think, I was like, I don't want any of that. And so I dare to be a little bit different. And when I was a young kid, you know, some would tease me because I wouldn't smoke a cigarette. And I was like, I've never smoked a cigarette. I don't have a problem with those people who do. That's your business, and that's your time and money. Nowadays, you got to be a rich person to smoke with the cost of cigarettes. But if I'd ever had a bad habit, I probably would have chewed tobacco, because my grandfather chewed tobacco, and I used to, when I was younger, I'd spit like I was chewing, but this never did take that habit up. Thankfully, I didn't. But to be different today, to stand out a little bit different, to be a different person, takes boldness. Now, I'm not talking about somebody being a weirdo. There's some people that I guess just do some very weird and outlandish stuff, and you know, I can't say nothing to that. But if you want to dare to be different, to be a righteous person, a godly person, a moral person, if you want to be a person that homesteads, that's off-grid, or any of that kind of stuff, never worry about what other people says. And I'm going to tell you this little saying I've got. The biggest way to fail in life is to try to please everybody. And I have people sometimes get aggravated at me because of my political beliefs, and I'm not changing them to fit other people. And I have had people, you know, if you don't know this already, I'm a conservative. I call myself a Republican, but really I consider myself an independent, because I'm going to vote who is best for the ticket. Sometimes it's like I have to pick the lesser of two evils. You know, the Republican or Democrat, they ain't one of them any better than the other, and you got to pick the lesser of two evils. It's sad that we're in this time today. And a lot of the elections we've had the past few years, that's what I felt like I had to do, was vote for the lesser of two evils. And I've already shared this before, but I used to be a Democrat. But it don't really matter what you are, Democrat or Republican, right is right and wrong is wrong. And in the end, we're each going to answer for our own record. The Bible says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And that's what I'm certainly trying to do. But in this time, if you want to stand out and be different, it certainly seems like the normal folks nowadays are the abnormal in the time that we are in. And I think it's going to get worse as time goes on, but each person has to walk their own road. There used to be a old song that George Jones sung that says, "You gotta walk that lonesome valley, you gotta walk it by yourself. Nobody else can ever walk it for you. You gotta walk it by yourself." And I've thought about that. We're going to walk this road alone. We got to figure it out. And you've got one life to live. Get it right while you're here on earth. If we'll live out and do the best we can with what we got, I tell you, some people criticize others for failing. And I tell you, someone who's never failed, somebody that never did do anything. But if you get out and try something, I get tickled on this YouTube videos. If any of you put up videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. You always got somebody got a thumbs down. And, you know, I'm like, okay, they don't like me, fine. There's millions of other videos they can watch there. Then I have people that will make comments like, oh, your music's too loud, or, you know, at the end I have a little trailer sometimes, or they'll criticize this or that. And I'm thinking, there's no way I could please everybody. To try to please everyone would be imminent failure. So I just do my thing. I put it out there. I love those that love to watch our videos, those that comment. I mean, just blesses my heart. But I was like, those other people, you can't please some people, no matter how much you tried to do. And we know that in the Bible, when Jesus was here, he walked a perfect life and he couldn't please folks. So why should I expect to please others? But the main thing is, I'm going to have to please myself and please the Lord, most importantly, in this walk that I'm in today. Hey, I sure appreciate you listening to me today and joining us here for Porch Talk. And I hope you're having a blessed day. And we look forward to seeing you on some more videos. And we're working on maybe getting a video together. Stacy, some have requested her singing. And so we might do a little video where we do 2 or 3 religious songs. She likes to sing Southern gospel music, so we may do that and air it some Sunday, or just something been rolling around in my head here. And so we're working on some things here and trying to do more videos. And my passion that something, or a hobby you could say, that I really like to do is cattle ranching. So I've been doing a lot of cattle ranching videos, and I realize there's a lot of folks could care less about that, and that's fine. There's surely to be something of our other videos. I know a lot of folks like the porch talk, but they don't care about any of the other stuff, and that's why you can pick and choose. And I'm trying to do the porch talk every Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, so that those that like listening to me ramble here, why, you can come and listen along. And I always get a lot of comments from folks and enjoy those. And but we do other things, and the biggest hobby thing that I like to do is, like I say, raising the cattle. So I've been trying to make videos on the cattle regularly, and trying to for sure upload a cattle video every Thursday night if I can. And then whatever else in between here about the chickens and the ranch here, whatever. But I do appreciate all of you that watch and that have commented and subscribed to our channel. Hey, we appreciate you. God bless you. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock here on Porch Talk. And we're gone.